Guys, so Muhammad, today's question is, would you raise your kids the same way you were raised?
No, I wouldn't.
What would you change?
I would change. I guess I'd just be more involved in their life, I guess. I just feel like my parents were just never really involved in my life, but that's just because of how, they're just like, I don't know, maybe some people, they're always working, like he didn't, like, for example, like my dad's always working, doesn't have time, my mom, same thing.
Were you born and raised here?
Yeah, I was.
Hi. I would definitely take some aspects from like what I've observed in their parenting skills, but I would definitely implement my own, just based on, trial and error. I see what didn't work and I'm gonna change it, But in all honesty, I think I'm just gonna adopt a few dogs, so it wouldn't be a problem.
I don't really feel like you can raise my kids the same way that my parents raised me, just because eras are always going to be different. Generations don't experience the same things. So also there's just trial and error, like things that I think did well, like my parents did well, and things that they didn't do well, like just live and learn.
But if you had the chance to raise them exactly how you were raised, would you do it?
I don't think so. Just on the same thing I said, like you see what worked well, what didn't work well. Like not to bash my parents, but nobody's perfect. You know what I mean?
No,
and you see flaws in everything. So just things that I think would work better, I change it.
What's one thing that you would wanna pass it to your children that you've learned from your
from
parents?
my parents? To really keep like your morals at a high. You know what I mean? Like.
I believe that the way my parents raised me wasn't perfect, but it was a way to teach me the different lessons in the world that made me a better person and made me the person I am today.
Okay, so would you raise your kids the same way you were raised?
No, I wouldn't.
What would you change?
I think I'd be more free and open with my kids, talk to them about, try to be as open as I can with them and let them know that they can tell me anything that they want.
Yes, I would raise my kids the same way I was raised because my parents were very open and transparent with everything. So I would definitely raise my kids the same way that my parents raised me.
The same exact way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
Probably not, because I feel like I would be more open-minded and have a more diverse thinking about it, because I feel like I was raised in more of a strict family.
You were born and raised here, right?
Yes.
Oh.
I would raise my kids the same way I was raised.
What do you think you will pass it on to your kids?
I think I really want to show them morals and values, teach them more of the family aspect. I really like how I'm close with my family.
Hi. I wouldn't raise my kids the same way that I was raised, because I feel like I was raised without really the attention to the uniqueness that I could have and that a child should be seen as having when I was growing up. So I was doing a lot of the things that traditionally a lot of kids should do, but having taken a course like cognitive development, being a psychology major, I know that it's important to be around the environments that you want to be around, and to be able to make those decisions on your own without being forced into having to do things would have really changed the way I would have.
No, I wouldn't.
Why?
I feel like I was brought up a certain way that affected me mentally, and so I wouldn't want my kids to be raised like that.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
No, I wouldn't raise my kids the same way I was raised.
Why is that?
I just feel like as a Latina, I was raised in a household that it was everything was really always strict and very in a box. So I think that kids should have at least some freedom, and they should have a little their parents should be they should have enough confidence in their kids to know that they won't always make the wrong decision
and make them feel independent.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. Thank you. So today's question is: would you raise your kids the same way you were raised?
I would raise them in the same way, but with some changes.
Like what?
Some changes so that they can adapt to the new culture, which is the American culture.
Oh, so you're talking culture-wise.
Culture-wise,
okay,
just adapting the new society.
Okay, how about something personality-wise? What is something that you would want to pass it on to them?
To be conservative more?
No, I wouldn't raise my kids the same way I was raised. primarily because I would probably incorporate a little more of what I know and of what's changed and yeah.
So what is if you get to pick one thing that you can pass it on to your kids, what would that be? Something that you learned from your parents.
Something that I learned from my parents. I just think it's like the respect, like just the discipline thing. I really appreciate the way my mother, especially because I grew up in a single person household. So my mother was a disciplinary. She did everything, and so I feel like I would definitely incorporate the same way she disciplined me into how I raise my kids.
I would like have a foundation on how to raise them based on how what I liked about how the parents raised me, but there's definitely things I would change. Like I wouldn't blindly just copy what my parents did. I would try to incorporate what they did right and what I feel like honestly raised me to be a good person. But certain things, there was stuff where it doesn't feel like it needs to happen, such as certain types of punishments. Yeah, like I feel like I wouldn't be as...
So for me personally, I feel like my parents did raise me pretty well, and a lot of the stuff they do I agree with, such as we talk a lot of our problems through with each other, so we don't really have much punishment. It's more we discuss and see where to work from there and how to better improve our relationship.
Yes, but sometimes no.